Yeah, the only thing that I would say is that um, I would feel more comfortable if we decided to send additional resources to FEMA now, before he is sworn into office. This is your territory. Is Congress going to fully fund what California needs in order to handle these fires and recover from them if it's needed? So, my charge to the newly elected Speaker of the House is, let's get a bill on the floor. Let's come together just like we came together when it dealt with Georgia, North Carolina, and Florida. Raise your hand if you've ever been personally victimized by Donald Trump's tweets. No? Well, the entire state of California just joined that club. As someone who's lived through California wildfires, let me tell you, it's no joke. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now, back to the video. But apparently, for our ex-president, it's the perfect punchline. While we were choking on smoke, Trump was busy cooking up conspiracy theories about fish. It's like he's living in his own reality show, keeping up with the confused. Let's break down this bizarre episode together, shall we? While California was burning hotter than a Trump rally in July, our favorite orange turd was busy doing what he does best, tweeting up a storm. Classic Donny Diapers move, right? Instead of offering support or, actually doing his job, Trump decided it was the perfect time to roast Governor Nome. Because when your state is on fire, clearly it's all your fault. Trump's hot take. Apparently, Nome refused to sign some magical water restoration declaration. Ooh, sounds important and official, doesn't it? According to our Twitter-in-chief, this piece of paper would have single-handedly saved California from turning into the world's biggest barbecue. Who knew solving wildfires was as simple as signing on the dotted line? But wait, there's more. Trump's logic is truly something to behold. More water equals no fires. It's like saying more ketchup equals world peace. Why didn't anyone think of this before? Just dump a bunch of water on California and poof, no more fires. Someone get this man a Nobel Prize in firefighting and we'll force it down his throat and we'll say, Gavin, if you don't do it, we're not giving you any of that fire money that we send you all the time for all the forest fires that you have. This is your territory. Is Congress going to fully fund what California needs in order to handle these fires and recover from them if it's needed? Our grumpy Trumpy wasn't done yet. He went on about protecting worthless fish. I guess in Trump's world, fish are the real villains. Those dastardly creatures swimming around using up all the water that could be used to fight fire. The nerve of them! Maybe we should start arresting fish for arson. Meanwhile, back in reality land, firefighters were battling infernos. With everything they've got, actually doing something useful instead of playing the blame game on social media. But Trump wasn't about to let reality get in the way of a good tweet storm. Nope. He had to take it up a notch. Trump threatened to withhold federal aid because nothing says great leader like abandoning people in crisis, right? It's like telling a drowning person, you won't throw them a life preserver unless they promise to vote for you. Stay classy, Donny. Trump's tweets show a shocking disconnect from the real issues Californians are facing. While he's playing Twitter fingers, real people are losing homes and lives. It's like he's living in an alternate universe where the biggest problem is fish stealing water from firefighters. Ever wonder what happens when you poke a bear with a Twitter stick? Well, Trump's about to find out. Governor Nome's not just fighting fires. He's about to set Trump's pants on fire with some cold, hard facts. Spoiler alert, it ain't pretty for our tweeter-in-chief. While Trump was busy playing armchair firefighter, Governor Nome was actually, governing. Crazy concept, right? Instead of engaging in a Twitter war, Nome decided to do something revolutionary. Focus on the actual crisis at hand. Who would have thought? But here's where it gets really wild, folks. When asked about Trump's little online tantrum, Nome pulled out a move straight from the How to Be a Grown-Up playbook. He actually praised the White House for their cooperation. I know, it's hard to believe, but Nome said, and I quote, "It's impossible for me to express the level of appreciation and cooperation we receive from the White House in this administration." Absolutely. We should, of course, acknowledge that these disasters hit every state, and this is a really big one. Did Republicans and Democrats work together to refill much of that disaster fund? Talk about taking the high road. It's like gnomes playing chess while Trump's still figuring out how to set up the checkerboard. Now, let's talk about a real president for a second. You know, the kind that actually shows up when disaster strikes. Yeah, that's right. I'm talking about good old Joe Biden. While Trump was busy threatening to withhold aid like some cartoon villain, Biden was rolling up his sleeves and getting stuff done. Noam couldn't stop gushing about how Biden approved disaster declarations faster than Trump could type out a misspelled tweet. It's almost like Biden remembers that being president means helping all Americans, not just the ones who voted for you. Shocking, I know. But wait, there's more. Remember how Trump was yapping about there being no water for firefighting? Well, turns out that was about as accurate as his hair color. Officials on the ground were quick to point out that there was plenty of water available in Southern California. The real problem was getting it to where it needed to be. It's almost like firefighting is more complicated than turning on a garden hose. Who knew? And get this. While Trump was busy playing the blame game, Noam's team was focusing on something wild, actually helping people. I know, it's a crazy concept. Noam's spokesman, Anthony York, dropped this bombshell. We're focused on protecting lives and battling these blazes, not playing politics. Can you believe it? A politician actually doing his job instead of picking Twitter fights. What's next? Pigs flying. But here's the real kicker, folks. While Trump was busy tweeting from his golden toilet, Biden was actually on the ground, standing shoulder to shoulder with Noam. And Noam wasn't shy about expressing his gratitude. He said, "I stood next to a president of the United States of America today, and I was proud to be with Joe Biden. He had the backs of every single person in this community. He didn't play politics." Ouch, that's got to sting more than the smoke from those wildfires. Well, folks, it looks like our favorite Twitter troll just got a taste of his own medicine, and it's spicier than a 5-alarm chili. While Trump was busy playing armchair firefighter, the real heroes decided to fight back with some scorching comebacks of their own. The California Professional Firefighters Union didn't pull any punches when they called out Trump's hot air. They were shocked, I tell you, that a presidential candidate would threaten public safety and not give a hoot about the consequences for firefighters and the public. It's almost like he cares more about his Twitter followers than actual human lives. Who would have thought? But wait, there's more. The union's president, Brian K. Rice, dropped a truth bomb that might have singed Trump's eyebrows off. He had the audacity to suggest that fighting fires is actually really hard and complex. I know, it's a wild concept. Here we were, thinking all you needed was a garden hose and a can-do attitude. Turns out there's a bit more to it than Trump's simplistic water management solutions. Who knew? Speaking of water, remember Trump's brilliant idea about just dumping more H2O on the problem? Well, the firefighters had a zinger for that, too. They said his suggestions were about as useful as a chocolate teapot in a wildfire. Now, I don't know about you, but I'd pay good money to see Trump try to put out a fire with a melting chocolate teapot. It'd probably be more effective, than his tweets at least. But let's get serious for a hot second. I mean, we spent historic amounts of money on Puerto Rico. Let me just play what President Trump said this was just in October about fires in California. My charge to the newly elected Speaker of the House is let's get a bill. On the floor, let's come together just like we came together when it dealt with Georgia and North Carolina and Florida. And that's something that I think members of Congress need to do a much better job about, is making sure that the money gets on the ground to the people who need it the most in the manner and the speed. While Trump was busy spouting nonsense, these brave men and women were out there battling almost 20 fires across California. That's right, 20 fires. And they weren't doing it for the gram or to boost their poll numbers. They were risking their lives to save others. Equipment be damned. And speaking of equipment, the union had some choice words about Trump's threats to withhold federal aid. Turns out when you're running into a burning building, you kind of need the right gear. Who would have guessed? It's almost like adequate equipment and support are crucial during a wildfire crisis. But hey, what do these professionals know? They're only the ones actually doing the job. The firefighters' response really drives home how dangerous and out of touch Trump's comments are.